Hello everyone and welcome to my presentation. My name is Jennifer Kaiser and today we will be discussing how to use technology to differentiate instruction. Alright, just a little quick overview. I have decided to split my presentation into two different parts. We will first discuss what differentiation is. How can you use differentiation in your own classroom? And then the second part, we will move on to ways in which you can use technology to differentiate instruction. You may be asking yourself, what is differentiated instruction? Differentiated instruction means that teachers and instructors are tailoring their instructions to meet the needs of each and every learner in his or her classroom. It has been found over the years that people learn differently and in different situations, and that's okay. Using differentiated instruction is meant to meet the needs of every student. According to Scott Willis and Larry Mann, there are 4 different areas in which teachers can differentiate instruction. Alright, let's run through these real quickly. The first area in which teachers can differentiate instruction is in the content of which he or she is teaching. This includes the concepts, the principles, and the skills that the teachers want their children to learn. Struggling learners should be taught the same big ideas as their classmates. Content can also refer to the resources teachers use to give their students access to the skills and knowledge. This can include texts, lectures, demonstration, and even field trips. The next area in which teachers can differentiate instruction is in the product or the process in which students are to demonstrate and extend what they have learned. These products and projects can reveal if the students can apply their learning beyond the classroom to solve problems and take action. Different students may be able to create different products based on their readiness levels, their interest, and even their learning preferences. The third area in which teachers can differentiate instruction is in the process or the activities that help students make sense of the ideas and skills being taught. Teachers can modify these activities to provide some students with more difficulty and others with more scaffolding, again, that can be depending on their readiness level. The last area in which teachers can differentiate instruction is in the learning environment. This is how the classroom feels, how it flows, how the class works together. Keeping these areas in mind when planning lessons, no matter if you're using technology or not, this will help with your differentiation. Just remember that differentiating instruction is a way for students to show what they have learned and just in a different way. Alright, let's look at some different ways to differentiate instruction. Again, I have only outlined a few. I will provide another link in my resources folder that you can visit if you would like to use other differentiated instruction strategies in your classroom. But these were just a few that I picked out, and I will try to relate them back to how you can use them with technology as we go through. So the first one that I have outlined is small group work. This is where groups rotate in and out of different groups, giving them a chance to participate in many different groups. The goal here is that students have the opportunity to learn from each other. The next one, reciprocal learning, is where the students become the teacher. Each student or group is given a different topic to become the expert on. Then students share what they have learned. And again, this can be used with technology. They may have to use Rex Kids or some other online kid encyclopedia to find their topics. And then they have to pick maybe how they want to present their learning. Okay, the next one, using stations. This involves setting up different spots around the classroom so that the kids can work on various tasks. These stations should be flexible because students rotate in and out on their own. I can see this being used with QR codes, where students have to go up and scan the barcode, and depending on what that activity asks them to do, it can be taking them to Raz Kids and they can be reading books at their level, or it could be extra math, taking them to practice extra math skills. Okay, so compacting goes back to the teacher, and this is where the teacher assesses students before beginning a unit of study, so that they know where their class is, maybe what they like to do, and things like that. The next one, students have agendas or menus that are personalized lists of tasks. This can be something as easy as something like tic-tac-toe, where they have to do 3 different activities in a row. It could be that each student has their own activities based on where they are in their learning process. I see this being used in my classroom all the time, but I can see it used with technology because you might be able to have them do some stuff on the computer or things like that. Complex instruction and orbital studies kind of go together. This is where students use the big ideas. They are doing independent investigation, in which the teacher is just there to ask questions and to help their students think more critically about what they are learning about. So the last one I have outlined here is problem-based learning. This places the student in the active role of solving a problem that might be similar to something that they might have to do in the real world. Again, I just outlined a few here. Look below for a couple of links that will link you back to some other ways you can add differentiated instruction. Each of these and the ones that they've listed, you can always add a technology component to. So now we are going to move on to differentiation through technology. When thinking about using technology in your classroom, you should be thinking about this technology in the sense that, does it promote and support learning? Does it support the standards and connect with the learning process? Is there formative assessments available? And is there options for different skill levels on the same content? So the next part of my presentation, I have discussed a few programs that help provide differentiation. Many of these are free, and the links are also below in the resource bin, so you can go and check them out if you are interested. So let's get started. The first program that I have outlined is called SAS Curriculum Pathways. This is a free online program that provides interactive lessons and videos, audio tutorials, and different apps that students and teachers can use and be able to go back and look at different things based on their interest level and their level of learning. Alright, so the next one I have provided is News ELA. Found this one really cool because it allows students to read the same current events. It just is differentiated to fit the need of different students and where they are based on their reading standards and their lexile level. I thought this was really cool because they also provide students in grades 2 through 6 activities to make sure that they are learning. I also found that this might work well in a literacy rotation or routine. It can also be used for social studies concepts as well. Alright, so the next one I have actually used myself. This is Raz-Kids. This has over 400 leveled ebooks. These books include fiction and nonfiction books, Spanish, songs, nursery rhymes, poetry. Raz-Kids allows students to listen to the story, read on their own, and even record themselves reading so that teachers can go back and monitor this process. Ebooks model fluency, so students can hear how they're supposed to sound when they read it. They can read for practice as well as take quizzes to check for comprehension. And I thought it was really cool too. They also have running records that help place your kids on the right reading level. Alright, this is the last one. So, Extra Math. We use Extra Math all the time in our school. It's free to use. It's an individualized math practice program. It practices math fluency, in addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. This helps kids further along in their math because they're more easily remember their basic math facts will come quickly to them, so they don't have to, write it out or try to figure it out. I also like that it gives progress reports for teachers, parents, and students so that they can see where they are in their. Alright, so quickly let's wrap up here. Again, I wanted to remind you that all of the different resources that I've mentioned here are all located in the additional resources area on my page here, as well as some extra sites that you can use to look at how to differentiate instruction. But again, keep these areas in mind when you are looking for ways to differentiate instruction, whether you're using technology or not, that you should look at the content, the process, and the product in which you want your students to learn and what you want to come out of the lesson. Also, the learning environment is important as well to look at. How are the kids learning? What's the classroom look like? How's it set up? And the last thing that I wanted to just state again, because I feel like this is important, that when you're looking for technology to promote differentiation, that it support the standards and connects to the learning process. Also, the availability to have formative assessments, as well as the option to have different skill levels for the same content area. Again, I looked back at all of my the resources that I gave you, and each one of those sites checked at least one or two of those boxes there. Alright, so thank you very much for watching my presentation. Again, I would love to have your feedback about what I can do to make this presentation better. Also, I have listed all of my references, and especially for all of my pictures that I use, those were created under Creative Commons. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation on how to differentiate instruction using technology.